Do you have any tips on where to find the strength for new habits for the future?
That's a great question. So I'm assuming you're saying that when things fall apart and you feel weak and overwhelmed, where to turn for that? That's a great question. There's so many answers to that because I think that for me, I had to go through this process. That's why I teach it. So I would recommend a resonance process for anyone. At the time, I went through something that was called the spiral, and it was similar. Went through a couple of times actually, and then I became a practitioner. And
Mm.
that for me helped me find my strength inside. And ultimately, that was the only strength that really worked. I tried bodybuilding for a while, and I thought that if I had a physical appearance that was strong and that I and beautiful and that I like, that would be the answer. And to be honest, the routine of building my body helped me to have something to do while I was figuring it out. And so routine can be helpful in those times to give you a way to go through motions to survive until
Mm.
you find that inner peace. And I really invested in coaching. I invested in coaches that were willing to go really deep because I hadn't found that in myself yet. So I just took the time and money to do that and went through those motions until I finally started to discover myself. And that's where the strength came. Nature was a wonderful resource as well because we are nature. So when we're in it, we're syncing up with parts of ourselves that are already perfect.
Yeah.
And really, I didn't have like a trusted person to go to because I blew up my life and I felt judged by people who were still in the Mormon paradigm. So that's why I sought a more shamanistic path. So that's where I found my strength. And that really opened myself to who I was. And that's when I started to get some inner strength.
Did you initially trust yourself right after your relationship ended?
No, I did not. That was probably my number one concern. I thought, if I leave this church and this person, am I even a good person anymore? Is this a bad choice and I'm just suddenly on a path of bad choices? That was the hardest thing for me because I was a Orthodox Mormon. So I really believed it and practiced it. And I didn't know if I would be able to trust myself. And I knew a lot of people who, once they left, they just started partying and being angry at the church and like swung clear over to the other side. And I didn't know if that would be me. So it was an experiment and a leap of faith to see if I would right myself once I was toppled. And thank goodness I did. I,
Yeah.
I I'm really happy about that because I like myself and I know that I still have integrity and all of those values that were important to me. They're still very important to me, but it was
Mm.
kind of scary at first.
Yes. What was some of your self-talk? What was going through your mind? Some questions or some of the confusion that was running wild up there in our brain?
Oh, I had questions like, who is God? Because I was leaving that religious paradigm. Am I a good person? Will I be able to keep my house? Will I ever find love again? And so, with all of those questions that are looming and having to be my biggest cheerleader, I started a journaling practice that started with gratitude and affirmations. And that helped because it was an assignment. Actually, someone challenged me to do it, another coach. And so I would come up with these affirmations about myself. And at first, it was kind of awkward. And now it's very natural. So being challenged to do that first, but then realizing, oh, these are all true. These are all aspects of me that I actually like. And sometimes I would just write something down that was like, I want it to be true.
Would you give us some examples of those positive affirmations?
Oh, I could say things like, I'm a brilliant creator. I am always kind. I know what to do, things like
Mm,
that. But the number one affirmation that my coach would write and say to herself, I still love it. And it's, I am divinely guided. And that really helped me the most because having blown up that aspect of my religious life, I really wanted to believe that I was still divinely guided despite the fact that I wasn't religious.
right.
So that's a favorite of mine.
How do you give up the control to
And
be spiritually guided?
you just do it. You just choose. You just choose faith over fear and keep choosing it.
Mm. Is it done in prayers?
For some people, it is. It can be a belief in something. Like God is so different for everyone. God can be, for some people, God is you. And so that concept of praying to yourself would feel maybe foreign or maybe not. I don't know. To me, that I would say meditation. My prayers look and feel different now. It's more of connecting to divinity through stillness and surrender. So that to me would be like a prayer, like I used to pray.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
For me, it's meditation, connecting in nature, and just surrendering, like you said, and being reminded that I am just me and like me and my problems. Being in nature, it just reminds me how tiny all of those problems are in comparison to this bigger realm out here, to the world, to the universe, the nature. And, that's what helps me give up that control.
Yeah. I love that too. I love that a lot. And it's important, I think, to put your bare feet on the ground if you can. It's winter here, so I haven't been doing it as much, but I completely believe that. And I think that when you remember that you're worth everything you desire and then you surrender, that's when magic starts happening.